She was grinding on him like I never existed. That's the first thing I saw when I walked into the penthouse party she told me not to go to. My wife, Megan, was wearing the gold backless dress I bought her for our anniversary, the one she said was too tight, now. And there she was, holding on to some dude's neck like she was single, swaying with her eyes closed, like she was in a fantasy. And that guy? Brandon, her coworker. The same guy she swore was just some new hire at the office. The one she laughed off every time I brought up his name. In that moment, I didn't see my wife anymore. I saw a stranger. A liar. A traitor. But I didn't cause a scene. Not yet. I just walked in slowly, letting the music thump through my chest, letting the shock settle. People turned to look. I wasn't dressed for the party, not like them. No blazer, no cocktail in hand. I was dressed like a man on a mission. My eyes didn't scan the room. They locked on her. She didn't see me at first. Brandon whispered something in her ear. She laughed. That laugh used to mean something to me. I waited until she opened her eyes. And when she did, they locked with mine. Her face dropped. Like she saw a ghost. I smiled. "Hey, Meg," I said loud enough for people nearby to hear. "Didn't expect me, did you?" She stumbled back. "WH, what are you doing here?" I kept walking forward, calm, deadly calm. "You told me not to come. Said it was just a boring work party." "You lied." Again. People started backing away. Eyes were on us. Her little perfect image? Crumbling by the second. "Megan," I said, pausing just a few feet from her. "Tell me the truth right now. How long has it been going on with him?" Brandon looked like he wanted to disappear. She was speechless. "Caught." "Stop," she finally whispered, fake smiling like it would help. "This isn't the time or place." "Oh no," I said, my voice firm. "This is exactly the time and place." I pulled my phone from my jacket. Hit play. The audio recording started, Megan's voice from earlier that week. "No, he's not coming. I told him it's some dumb party. He's so gullible." The room went dead silent. People gasped. Brandon took a step back. "And Megan?" She tried to snatch the phone from my hand. "Are you insane? You recorded me?" I nodded. "Yeah. Crazy, right? It's almost like I started questioning things after my wife started dressing up for someone else's attention." She snapped. "You're being dramatic. Nothing happened. We were just dancing." "You mean grinding? With your tongue in his ear?" I hissed. "You call that innocent?" She went red. Then pale. That's when I turned to Brandon. "You enjoy stealing married women? Or is this just some power trip for you?" He stammered. "Look, man, I didn't know." "Don't man me," I cut in. "You knew. You both did. And tonight? I came here to give you a show." I turned to the crowd. "For anyone wondering, yeah, this is my wife. And she's been lying to me for months. So here's a toast." I grabbed a glass from the table. "To the truth. It always shows up, one way or another." I downed it and walked out. Didn't look back. But trust me, this wasn't over. This was just the beginning. The moment I walked out of that penthouse, I expected to feel free, vindicated. I thought calling her out in front of everyone would give me some sort of twisted satisfaction. But the truth? All I felt was fire. Not the clean burn of closure, no. This was raw, ugly rage sitting right under my skin. My hands were shaking, but I wasn't scared. I was done. I barely made it down the street when I heard footsteps pounding behind me. "Jason! Jason, stop!" Megan's voice, high-pitched and desperate, echoing through the night. I didn't stop. She had no right to chase me. "Jason, please! Let me explain!" I finally turned around. "Explain what?" I growled. "How you lied straight to my face and thought I was too stupid to notice?" She was crying. But I didn't trust those tears, not anymore. Megan always cried when she got caught. Not when she did something wrong, only when it stopped working in her favor. "Please," she said again, grabbing my arm. "It wasn't what it looked like." "That line?" I laughed, Loud, bitter. Oh, great. You're pulling that one out now. It's classic. Textbook cheating wife line number 1. It was just dancing, she insisted. We were a little drunk and it was stupid. I didn't sleep with him. I stared at her dead in the eye. And that makes it okay? She went quiet. Because she knew it didn't. You planned this. You planned for me not to be there. I said, voice cold now. You tricked me. You played me. And the moment you thought I was out of the way, you ran to him. It's not like that, she whispered, eyes darting around as if anyone nearby might hear. I leaned in. You told him I was gullible. She flinched. You said I believed every excuse. And you know what? I did. Until tonight. She crossed her arms now, defensive. The act was over. Fine. You want the truth? Yeah. I like the attention. You've been distant. You're always working. You don't look at me the way you used to. I stepped back. Wow. So now it's my fault you were dry humping Brandon at a rooftop party? You pushed me away, she snapped. I needed someone who made me feel seen. I blinked. And did you tell me that? Or did you just decide to find it in someone else's arms? She didn't answer. I laughed again, bitter hollow. You're a real piece of work, Megan. And then came the kicker. She wiped her tears, stood straighter, and said, Are you really gonna throw away our marriage over one stupid mistake? That was it. The moment everything inside me just switched off. No, I said calmly. You threw it away. I'm just here to collect the ashes. She started crying again, this time louder. Please, let's just go home and talk. I'll send you the address of a lawyer. I cut her off. We're done. Her face twisted, rage and panic battling for control. You're not thinking straight, she hissed. You're acting emotional. We can fix this. You're damn right I'm emotional, I said, stepping closer. Because the woman I trusted with my entire life spat on it like it was nothing. And you want to fix this? You can't even admit what you did. I walked away again. This time, she didn't follow. My phone buzzed as I got into my car, text from my friend Ethan. Got it all on video. Let me know what you want to do with it. Oh, I had plans. But first, I needed to cool the hell down. Because the storm that was coming next? It was going to be nuclear. I didn't go home that night. There was no home anymore, at least not one that felt like mine. The place I once called safe was now a war zone filled with ghosts in every corner. So instead I drove. Nowhere in particular. Just me, the road, and the silence broken only by my thoughts and the hum of the tires. I ended up parked outside a 24-hour diner, staring blankly at the neon sign flickering above the entrance. I wasn't hungry. I was wired. My mind replayed every lie, every fake smile Megan had thrown my way over the past few months. Brandon. That smug little punk. The way he acted like I didn't exist. The way he grabbed my wife like she was some trophy he earned. The more I thought about it, the harder it was to sit still. And Megan? That woman had played me like a damn fool. But I wasn't going to cry about it anymore. No more sulking. No more. How could she? Sob stories. Now it was time to act. I texted Ethan back. Meet me tomorrow. I have a plan. He replied instantly. Got your back. Let's burn the mask off. The next morning, Megan tried calling. 11 times. I didn't answer. Then she texted. Can we talk? Please. It's not too late. I didn't respond. She'd had her chance. At that party, when I asked her point blank, she chose lies. She chose Brandon. But now she wanted to fix it? Hell no. Instead, I started gathering evidence. Ethan sent me the full video from the party. Megan and Brandon, grinding, whispering, her hands slipping into places that didn't belong, right there in front of everyone. You couldn't mistake it. It wasn't innocent. It wasn't just dancing. It was betrayal in motion. And I wanted everyone to see the truth. I made a private folder. Labeled it Divorce Proof. Inside, voice recordings, video clips, screenshots from her messages she forgot to delete from the shared iCloud. Yup, she was that sloppy. One thread caught my eye, a conversation between her and her best friend, Tara. Megan. I told Jason not to come. I swear he bought it. I need tonight to blow off some steam. Brandon's picking me up. Tara. Girl, you're crazy. What if he finds out? Megan. He won't. He's too naive. Naive. That word hit me harder than I expected. I had trusted her with everything. I let my guard down because I believed in our love. And now? She was bragging about how easy it was to lie to me. But the part that really punched me in the gut. Tara. You sure about Brandon? He's kind of a player. Megan. So am I. Just smarter. I stared at that line for a long time. So am I. Just smarter. She thought she was playing chess while I was playing checkers. She thought I'd stay quiet. That I'd break down, beg, cry. Maybe even forgive her. But she didn't know the version of me that was about to rise from this wreckage. I called my lawyer. Told him everything. Sent him the folder. Told him I wanted it fast, clean, and brutal. Then I made a call to Brandon. Hello? His voice cracked. Surprised. It's Jason. Silence. Then, look man, I don't want any problems. Good, I said. Because I'm not calling to threaten you. I'm calling to warn you. Warn me? You don't know her like I do. You think she's yours now? Good luck. She'll chew you up next. Ask her last boyfriend, the one before me. If you can find him. I hung up before he could respond. I wasn't about drama. I was about execution now. I had a message to deliver, to her, to him, to everyone who thought I was the type of guy who'd stay broken. That night was the start. But the real storm? It was still coming. The next 48 hours were a mix of rage, precision, and control. Megan had no clue what was coming. She still thought I was sulking somewhere, nursing my ego with whiskey and tears. But I wasn't broken. I was building. Planning. And when I strike, I don't strike soft, I strike surgical. The first thing I did was remove her from our bank accounts. I wasn't petty, I was practical. The joint credit cards? Locked. Access to my business account? Gone. She had her own money, sure, but most of the lifestyle she flaunted, those spa days, fancy clothes, her girls' nights, that came from my grind. My late nights. My loyalty. She chose Brandon? Fine. Let him pay for her nails now. Next, I changed the locks. She came home that night, probably expecting tears, some dramatic apology, a speech about working through this. But what she found instead was silence. No lights. No keys. Just a note on the door taped right under the camera. This house is no longer your playground. Contact my attorney. She pounded the door for a full 5 minutes. I watched her through the peephole. She was yelling, something about forgiveness and me being irrational. I didn't respond. Let her talk to the wood. I forwarded the footage to Ethan. He replied. She looks like she's finally realizing you're not bluffing. Damn right I wasn't. Then came the messages. Long paragraphs, full of gaslighting. We made mistakes, both of us. This doesn't have to be the end. You were distant for months, Jason. I was lonely. Ah, yes, the classic flip. When cornered, make it about my flaws. Classic narcissistic playbook. But the thing that made my blood boil wasn't her. It was Tara, her so-called best friend, who started texting me now too. Tara. Hey. Megan's hurting. Can we talk? Me. Sure. In court. Tara. She's scared. She didn't mean for this to happen. She said you changed. I sent her back a screenshot. One of the messages Megan had sent her. Jason would die if he knew. It's fun walking the line. Brandon's way more exciting in bed anyway. No reply. Dead silence. The fake support network crumbled like sandcastles in a storm. By day 3, Megan went from playing the victim to full-blown panic mode. She showed up at my workplace. Unannounced. She walked in like she still had a place in my world, full makeup, crocodile tears, and her hands clutched like she was ready to say something Oscar-worthy. Jason, please. Can we talk? I made a mistake. A huge mistake. My coworkers watched silently. Nobody moved. Nobody dared intervene. I stared at her and said just one thing. You're not supposed to be here. Her smile twitched. I'm your wife. I said flatly. Pending paperwork. Her eyes flickered pain, rage, disbelief, a cocktail of consequences she wasn't ready to drink. I didn't think you'd do this to me, she whispered lower now. No, I said. You thought I'd forgive you. Like always. But I'm done being your safety net. She reached out to touch my arm. I stepped back. Don't. You already let someone else put their hands there. The room was frozen. She stormed out, muttering curses under her breath. The illusion of power finally shattered. But I wasn't done yet. That night, I called Brandon again. Why are you calling me? He barked. You thought you won, I said. But I wasn't playing your game. I was writing the rules. What the hell does that mean? It means she's yours now, I said. All the lying. All the manipulation. All the drama. You signed up for it, good luck surviving it. And I meant every word. This wasn't revenge anymore. It was revelation. I wasn't rebuilding from the ashes. I was rising out of the fire, steel forged. And they had no idea what was still coming. I woke up the next morning feeling something I hadn't in weeks: control. Not peace, not happiness, but clarity. The fog was gone. I saw everything as it really was. Megan wasn't just a cheating wife. She was a manipulator, a professional mask wearer. And I had spent years sleeping next to a stranger who only loved herself. But now, that mask was gone. The next move was public. I wasn't going to air dirty laundry for the drama. This wasn't about likes or validation. This was about truth. For too long, she controlled the narrative, always the charming wife, always the one who smiled just right for the cameras, the brunches, the girls' nights. But behind closed doors, she was texting Brandon things like, Jason is a robot. I fake everything just to keep him from asking questions. Cool. Let's see how the world reacts when the robot finally speaks. I posted a message, short, clean, no names, no details, just enough to let the people close to us know the truth. To those wondering why Megan and I are no longer together, loyalty matters. Betrayal cuts deep. I've said my piece privately. Now I'm closing that chapter. Moving forward stronger, alone, not broken. I didn't expect much from it. But within an hour, the replies came in. Ethan. Finally. Proud of you, brother. My sister. I always knew she was fake. Wish you'd listened sooner. Even my mom. About damn time. And surprisingly? Tara's boyfriend. He messaged me too. Hey man, just found out Megan and Tara had a bet. Said she could get away with it as long as she kept you on a leash. I'm done with Tara. Just thought you should know. A bet? I had to read that twice. So not only was Megan cheating, she was doing it for sport. For entertainment. That changed everything. I wasn't angry anymore. I was surgical. I printed out the text threads. Every screenshot, every fake excuse, every flirty message with Brandon, every mockery of my trust. I brought them to my lawyer and said, I don't want to fight. I want to win. Fast. Clean. Public if needed. He nodded. With this much evidence, we can hit her hard. Spousal support? Gone. Asset split? You'll keep 90%. She'll be lucky if she walks away with a toaster. Perfect. Meanwhile, Megan kept pushing her little narrative. I started hearing whispers. She was telling people I emotionally neglected her, that I abandoned the marriage, that she was forced into Brandon's arms. Cute story. Shame it came with a digital paper trail that said otherwise. Then, one evening, she tried again, a last desperate shot. She showed up at my apartment in tears, no makeup, hoodie over her head like she was some victim of the storm she created. Jason, she whispered. I've lost everything. My job found out. Brandon blocked me. Even Tara's ghosted me. Please. Can we just talk? I let her in. Not because I was soft. Because I wanted her to see what the end really looked like. She sat down, eyes hollow. I thought I had control, she said. I thought you'd always forgive me. I know, I replied. She looked up. Do you hate me? I paused. Then I said the truth. No. I just don't respect you anymore. And that's worse. She started crying. Real tears this time. Not because she missed me, but because the consequences had finally caught up. I stood up, opened the door, and said, You need to leave now. Whatever we had is dead. You killed it. And I'm not reviving it for your comfort. She left without another word. And as the door closed behind her, I didn't feel pain. I felt peace. The kind that comes when you've finally stopped hoping a liar will tell the truth. But this story still had one move left to play. And I was ready. I thought that would be the end of it. I thought that once Megan walked out of my apartment, broken and alone, the story was finished. She'd fall off the map. I'd move on. Simple. But Megan wasn't the kind of woman who knew how to lose. Not quietly. A week passed. I focused on rebuilding my life. I reconnected with people I hadn't seen in years. I hit the gym harder. I laughed again. I started sleeping through the night. No more second guessing, no more anxiety waiting for her to come home late from work. But then Ethan called. You're not gonna believe this, he said. She's telling people you abused her. I froze. What? Yeah, he continued, voice low. She's spinning it. Saying you were cold, controlling. That the party thing was her trying to feel free. I clenched my jaw so tight it hurt. She didn't just cheat. She was rewriting the script. Suddenly, I was the villain. Not Brandon. Not her. Me. But she wasn't stupid. She wasn't shouting it on social media. No, she was planting it through whispers, in group chats, brunch tables, behind my back. Passive-aggressive posts about narcissists and emotional abuse survivors started popping up on her story. And of course, the sympathy rolled in. Stay strong, Meg. You didn't deserve that. Proud of you for speaking out. She didn't name me, but everyone knew. And that's when I realized Megan hadn't lost. She just pivoted. She was trying to salvage her image. Reinvent herself. Cheat, lie, destroy, then play the victim. Classic. But here's the thing. I had receipts. Every message. Every recording. Her laughing about me being gullible. Her bragging about lying. Even the bet with Tara. I'd kept it quiet out of dignity. Now, that dignity had a price tag. And it was getting expensive. I met with Ethan that night. We sat in his garage with beers, phones, and a shared hatred for people like her. You want to go nuclear? He asked. I want to go biblical. We cut together a video. Clean. No slander, just facts. No voiceover. Just the text, screenshots, audio clips, even footage from the party. Timestamps included. Her words. Her lies. Her game. And we titled it, The Truth About Megan, from Her Own Mouth. We didn't post it publicly. We sent it privately. To friends. To mutual contacts. To anyone she was manipulating. And we made sure it circulated. Within 24 hours, I started getting messages. Man! I had no idea. She really said all that? I feel sick. I defended her. One person even sent me a screenshot, Megan, raging in a group chat. He's trying to ruin me. This is harassment. He's lying. Then someone replied to her. You literally said all of that though. It's your voice. Boom. Her last move? Backfired. She tried to gaslight the whole circle, but this time, I had the flashlight. And here's the twist she really didn't expect. Brandon? He messaged me too. Yo. I didn't know she was like that. She said you abused her. Then I saw the video. I replied. You were dumb. But I hope you learned something. I did. He wrote. She's crazy. You got lucky, man. Lucky? I laughed out loud. It wasn't luck. It was clarity. It was walking through hell and finally understanding that sometimes, fire doesn't destroy you, it forges you. Megan thought she could burn me to the ground and dance in the ashes. She didn't realize. I am the fire. And I'm not done burning yet. You ever watched someone unravel in real time? That was Megan now. After the truth started spreading, her world collapsed faster than she could fake another lie. Her little circle of enablers? Gone. The girls who used to yas queen her under every photo now left her texts on read. Her real estate clients? Cancelled meetings. Even her firm, the same one that once praised her for being charming with couples, quietly took her off the team page. It wasn't my revenge that ruined her. It was her own mouth. Her own messages. Her own arrogance. But the part that really cemented it? The part I'll never forget? She showed up one last time. Not crying. Not begging. Angry. I was at the gym. Deadlifting. Focused. Zoned in. Then I saw her in the mirror, walking toward me like she had something to prove. Jason, she snapped. We need to talk. I didn't stop lifting. Didn't even look her way. Leave, I said between reps. No, she hissed. You humiliated me. You went behind my back. You exposed private messages. I dropped the barbell with a loud clang that turned heads. I turned slowly. You think I humiliated you? I said. You threw away our marriage for cheap thrills. You mocked me to your friends. You lied to everyone. I just pulled back the curtain. If you're embarrassed, good. That's called consequences. She scoffed. This isn't who you are. You're right, I said. This is who I became after learning who you really are. She tried one last jab. You think you're so much better than me? I smiled. Calm. Confident. I don't have to think it. She stormed out, practically shaking. That was the last time I ever saw her in person. And honestly, that's the moment I finally felt the weight leave. It was never about revenge. Not really. It was about freedom. About taking my name, my story, my life, and ripping it out of her hands. Weeks passed. I started feeling alive again. I booked a solo trip, somewhere I'd always wanted to go but never could because Megan didn't like beaches. Screw that. I love beaches. I love sand. I love breathing air that doesn't smell like manipulation. I stood on the edge of the shore one night, waves crashing at my feet, and I thought, this is what peace looks like. No lies. No fake apologies. No paranoia. Just me, the man who walked through hell and didn't just survive, he rebuilt. Ethan messaged me while I was there. People are still talking about the Megan drop. She's gone radio silent. Good, I replied. Time to let the past stay buried. And it was. I didn't need to drag her name through more mud. I didn't need to keep retelling the story. I already won. I got my life back. That was the real victory. I came home to a clean apartment. Quiet. Mine. I started writing again. Working harder. Sleeping better. Laughing louder. And one day, months later, I looked at my phone and saw a message request from an unknown number. It was her. I know I'm the villain in your story. Maybe I deserve that. But I do hope you're okay. I never really hated you. I just hated myself. I stared at it for a long moment. Then deleted it. No reply. Because some chapters don't need closure. They just need to end. And mine? It ended the moment I stopped chasing answers from someone who only ever gave excuses. Megan taught me a brutal lesson. But I took that lesson and turned it into something powerful. I became the man she never thought I'd be, the one who walked away with his head high and his dignity untouched. And as for her? She's just another ghost in a story I've already outgrown. People say time heals all wounds. They're wrong. Time doesn't heal betrayal, you do. You heal when you stop asking, why did this happen to me? And start saying, this won't happen again. 6 months after Megan left my life for good, I wasn't just surviving, I was thriving. I'd rebuilt my career, started training harder, sleeping better, even met new people, not romantically, not yet, but real ones. People who didn't make me feel like I had to apologize for existing. People who actually listened. People who didn't make love feel like a battlefield. But I still remembered everything. The lies. The games. The party that changed everything. It wasn't pain anymore, it was fuel. I no longer looked at Megan as my cheating wife. I saw her for what she truly was, a painful turning point in my life. A final test. The last lesson before I became who I was meant to be. There's something liberating about knowing the worst already happened, and you lived through it. She tried to break me. She tried to humiliate me. She thought I'd fall apart, beg, maybe even blame myself. But I rose. Not for revenge. Not for validation. But because the only way to win after betrayal is to become unshakable. She'll live with what she did. Brandon? Last I heard, he blocked her after 3 weeks of hell. She tried playing the same game with him, manipulation, crying, gaslighting, but he didn't have the patience I had. He bailed. Tara? Gone too. Their little bet circle imploded like a bad scam. And me? I got everything I wanted, my peace, my pride, and my power. I didn't need karma to hit them. I was karma. One night, sitting on my balcony, I wrote out a few rules for myself, not for the next relationship, not for social media. Just for me. My code, my closure. If it feels off, don't ignore it. Don't beg someone to love you right. Loyalty isn't a favor, it's the bare minimum. Watch what people do when they think you're not watching. Never, ever let someone make you forget your worth. I read those every morning now. Not out of spite, but as a reminder of how far I've come. Of who I'll never be again. Sometimes, when I pass by familiar places, that cafe where we used to eat brunch, the bar we once celebrated an anniversary, I wonder if she's ever nearby. If she sees me now. Healthier. Stronger. Free. Maybe she does. Or maybe she's still lying to herself somewhere, trying to rewrite the ending. Doesn't matter. Because the real ending happened the moment I chose myself. So here's my final message, to anyone who's ever been in my shoes. If someone cheats, lies, or disrespects you, that's on them. But if you stay knowing all that, that becomes on you. You don't owe loyalty to betrayal. You don't owe forgiveness to someone who keeps stabbing the same wound. And most importantly, you don't owe closure to someone who shattered your trust and handed you the pieces with a smile. You owe yourself peace. I found mine. Not in revenge. Not in her regrets. But in walking away and never looking back. This story started with a lie in a gold dress. It ends with me, whole, healed, and finally free.